Hello guys, Chinson here. Today I'll be doing some r/ProRevenge. Enjoy! Abusive dad and half-brother took everything I had, so I took it back. There's so much backstory, but I'll skip it. And just say that my dad and half-brother abused me in every way imaginable. Once I got to the age of 14 or so, it simplified to mental, emotional, and, later, financial abuse. I started this story when I was about 31. Note, this story could likely be posted to r/entitled parents or r/choosing beggars, but I am proud of the outcome, so I decided to post it here. This is my first full-fledged post on Reddit, so I hope it fits. If not, my apologies. TLDR at the end of the post. Here it goes. I was living with my asshole dad and my asshole half-brother. My dad made over $4,000 a month between his VA comp. He was injured in Vietnam and his social security disability, yet he blew through it. My brother provided no income, so I had to hand over my $750 disability check to make ends meet. Without it, we couldn't eat, pay most bills, etc. Still, I was called a freeloader, but I digress. My dad had told me a secret which, to be as vague as possible, clued me in that he was responsible for something terrible that happened to me when I was 9. I went into a death spiral of depression. I rarely drank anything, I barely ate. Out of a can of beans, I ate 8 of them in a week. 8. And was basically, subconsciously trying to die. Note, during this time, neither asshole dad or asshole half-brother checked on me once to make sure I was okay. About 2 weeks into this death spiral, I started to feel the symptoms of a heart attack. For some reason, my sense of self-preservation kicked in. Asshole dad and asshole half-brother were out running errands, so I called them and told them I needed to go to the ER stat. My dad drove me to the ER with my bro in the back seat. This is what went down. Asshole dad, you're due to get your pill meds filled soon, right? Note, I was on hydrocodone 10s. My dad was on 5s. He'll bully me into giving him my pills because they were stronger, and would toss me a few of his as consolation prize. He was taking at least half his script and all of mine too. Me? Yes, in a couple of days. Why? Remember, I'm sitting next to him, possibly having a heart attack, maybe dying. No biggie. Asshole dad, you know, if they admit you to the hospital, you won't make your refill appointment. I don't get my pills until the end of the month, and I'll be left in pain until I get them. At this point, I was furious and in disbelief, so I demanded that he turn the car around if I survived long enough to get my pills for him, but was still having symptoms. Then, I'll go to the ER. This pissed him off. He began slapping me, banging the steering wheel, shouting, all while going 50 miles per hour. Asshole dad, I hope you do die. You're so fucking selfish. You don't think about anyone but yourself, you bitch. The whole time, asshole half-brother is in the back seat playing cheerleader. Tell me why asshole dad had the right to be mad. We arrive at the ER. I tell the receptionist why I'm there, and they rush me back to the trauma room. For my privacy, they shut asshole dad and asshole half-brother out, because they had to get me into a hospital gown ASAP, and get monitors hooked up into me. And to do that, of course, I had to take my clothes off. No sooner did they finish up, than my asshole half-brother was knocking on the door and poking his head in. Asshole half-brother, can we come in? Asshole dad went to the car because he's hurting, and no one offered him a place to sit down, so he got mad. Nurse, well, he can sit down in here now. We've got her all hooked up. Asshole half-brother retrieve asshole dad, and asshole dad sits down in the trauma room. Nurse, to asshole dad, hi, how are you today, sir? Asshole dad, oh, not too good. I've got health problems too, but it's all about her right now, he said with disdain. Nurse, okay, sorry to hear that. Me, dad, you know, why don't you have asshole half-brother take you home? And if they don't admit me, I'll call and he can come pick me up, so you can be comfortable at home. Asshole dad agreed, and both he and asshole half-brother left. I was alone. I started crying and demanded to speak to a social worker. I told the social worker everything and was considering going to a woman's shelter, but was unsure. See, asshole dad usually have a possession of the debit card of my disability check went into, so I didn't want to go through the mess of charging him for theft if he used it once I left, etc. Also, the woman's shelter was in another city, and I had no transportation to get there. I did get admitted to a hospital, and asshole dad visited me, but was cold as usual because the attention was on me and not him. Also, the narcotic pain pill thing. One day, I snuck a look at my wallet and saw that I had possession of my debit card. This meant if I did leave home, my money went with me, which meant they'll lose everything. I still love them. call it Stockholm Syndrome, and was reluctant to do this to them. By the fates, I got transferred to a sister hospital of the one I had been in that so happened to be in the same city as the woman's shelter. I had to have a heart cath. I was terrified of leaving home and told the social worker I'll change my mind. Problem was, the law is that if you are an adult and you report abuse and you are considered disabled, Adult Protective Service has to follow up on your report. Asshole dad and asshole half-brother show up to be with me for my heart cath. I decide to confess to asshole dad what I've done. Me? I'll tell Adult Protective Service it was a silly fight and that I over-exaggerate things. They'll drop it. Asshole dad: of course, we have a fight and I'm the bad guy. Me: I'm sorry, it'll blow over. Asshole dad: come on, asshole half-brother, we're leaving. And they just left me there, scared, alone, and being examined for possibly fatal heart deformity. That was all I needed to make up my mind. So, I did the test, and as soon as they discharged me, I hopped onto a taxi, went into the woman's shelter, and took every dime of money with me, along with a few items I had on me at the hospital. I had to leave everything else I owned behind, including a necklace with an angel with some of my mother's ashes in it, and the last gift she ever gave me, a diamond pendant. But it was worth it. July 4th, 2013. Yes, Independence Day is my own personal Independence Day too. Was my first day in the shelter, and I realized I made the right decision. I never saw or spoke to asshole dad or asshole half-brother ever again. I ended up in my own place, met my now husband, and have had a great life ever since. Asshole dad is dead now. I heard he had a massive stroke not long after I left, and died a massive heart attack in 2017. Good. I hope it hurts. Cheat on me? No problem, I'll fuck your sister then. So heads up for possible language errors or wrong formatting. I am on mobile. Since I started watching these kind of OP posts on YouTube, I decided to make an account myself and tell my story how it went a bit too far. So this happened a bit over 3 years ago. My then girlfriend and me decided to move in together and bought a house. The next step was having kids since we were already together for quite some time and were stable both in financial aspect and job aspect. And of course because we love each other immensely. She got pregnant quite fast and we couldn't be happier at first. Then I decided since we have our own house, a little kid on the way, and no problems apart from the occasional arguments in every relationship, that it would be a good idea to ask her to marry me. Can't ask without a ring, of course. So I asked my work for extra shifts and a couple of extra weekend shifts since those pay better. The drawback on this was that I was absent from home a lot more and that frustrated her. I couldn't tell her the reason why since I wanted to surprise her. Over the course of a couple weeks, we started to get in more and more fights. Verbally, since I would never hit a woman, of course. She grew more and more distant, while I was still working my ass off to buy a nice engagement ring. That's when I started to get a gut feeling something was wrong. This grew even more when she put a password on her phone out of the blue and wouldn't share it with me. I ignored my gut since I trusted her with my life, and it was her phone. She can do with it what she wants. My gut feelings never really disappeared, and I soon learned why. Not long after, she left her phone open while she went to take a bath. Then she received a message from a co-worker of here that was quite explicit. I started scrolling up and found nudes, sexual messages, date meetings, and the works. My world shattered. Now, every normal guy probably would have confronted her instantly. Not me, since I was in shock and disbelief, especially since she was pregnant with my child. Once it sank in for a bit, I decided that I wanted revenge. Most people that desire revenge in these situations don't really care with whom they take revenge. I, however, cared. Her younger sister stayed quite often for a sleepover at her place to help in the household when I was working, and she was tired due to her pregnancy. Since I knew her sister for a long time, I've known my girlfriend. I knew what buttons to press to calmly seduce her. This worked quite well, and I made sure not to be too abrupt, but a bit of time so it wouldn't seem too weird. I made quite some good progress with her and faster than I expected as well. After a couple weeks after I started doing this, my girlfriend's sister stayed for another sleepover. And this was my chance, since I was also at home a bite a bit later, but they were both still awake. Then I heard the magic words from my girlfriend that she was going to bed and sleep. Her sister and I decided to stay up a bit longer and finish watching a movie. A bit later, when I was sure she was sleeping, I crawled a bit closer to her sister and started to flirt more and more with her. She responded in kind. This was where I thought it's now or never. I started caressing her, and she let me go on even more. Then I finally undressed her, and we had intercourse while her sister and my girlfriend was sleeping upstairs. At first, I felt a bit guilty and I wanted to confess everything, but her sister and my rage against her convinced me otherwise. A couple of months later, she came clean with what she'd done to me and also revealed part of the truth and that I already knew what she had done. I didn't tell her it was her sister I slept with, since her sister wanted to play the part of a good and kind little sister. She still plays this part to this day, and to top it all off, I decided to show her the ring I bought to ask her to marry me with. Needless to say, I didn't want to marry her anymore, and I ended up returning the ring to the jeweler. The fact that I could do something like this out of sheer revenge shattered her, and now she knows the same pain I felt when she cheated on me. Also, that sisterly bond is torn because of this. She doesn't know the exact reason why, but we do. I know that I'm an a-hole for doing this with her sister, but her sister isn't free of guilt either. She was as guilty as I am. There are times I regret what I've done, but that passes quite fast. Contact with her sister is sometimes quite awkward as well, since we both still remember what we did, and weirdly enough, there are still some times when there's sexual tension around us. Small edit. After we came clean to each other about the cheating part, we decided to work on the problems that caused this to happen. And we decided to start anew with a clean slate, especially since we had a kid together. We're still together to this day. Alright guys, that would be all for me for today. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you guys want more, I'll be back tomorrow with more Reddit reads. Have a nice rest of the day, guys. See ya.